today. I'm back. It's been a little while. As I explained at the time, work was really busy. But if you tune into my last Fridaysews, you may see a finished sparkly dress beside me. So I'm going to fill you in on that today and another couple of bits and bobs. So today is my first day off in weeks. I've been working what I call 3 session days. So that means I'm working morning, afternoon and evening most days. And of course, in amongst all of that, I decided that it was time to make my first concert dress. So I think I had an evening off, I had an afternoon somewhere, and I had a morning. And I managed to get this dress made up in that time, which is a bit of a miracle. So I'll talk you through it first, and then I'll maybe talk you through some things I liked about it, some things I might change. So this is the LED dress pattern, which is by Closet Core Patterns. The fabric I used is from Fabric Godmother. It's a dead stock fabric. Now, I don't know how well you can sort of see the texture, but obviously it's sequined, and then the base fabric is sort of like a striped tinsel mesh. So there's mesh and there are sort of thin layers of tinsel going across it, which give it a sort of rough textured look and feel and everything else. And then I've lined that with just some basic lining fabric just in the bodice. The bodice is lined, the sleeves are lined. The only adjustment I made was, so if you've seen my previous LED dress, which was made out of a viscose linen, I think, I had some issues with gaping. Now, I'm on a bit of a journey with the fit of this. So generally speaking, if you have gaping in the neckline, you pinch the amount out of the neckline, you rotate it into the darts. The way this bodice is constructed, you actually don't have traditional bust darts. You have these darts at the waist, which give you the shaping, and then obviously the tie gives you the shaping, and you also have darts in the back. These are pleats, sorry, not darts in the front. Yeah, pleats. So you don't have a traditional dart. Now, I looked on the Closet Core website, and they actually had an article about how to adjust the neckline and stop gaping in the neckline. And it said just to take it out at the shoulder, which is what I'd previously done with my other LED. So I've done that, but I'm now questioning the fit issue a little bit. So to go back over the problem, I was finding that there was a lot of gaping at the front. My assumption being the front neckline must have too much length in it, so I need to take length out. With this, I found that actually, and when I most recently wore my other LED, I felt this as well, the back neckline is like pulling up against my neck a lot. And it's as if everything's being pulled forward. So I'm now thinking, is there gaping in the bust? Because actually there was not enough length in the front neckline, and it's being pulled down so that it can tie at the waist. There's actually not very much ease in the waist for this pattern. So, yeah, which is a bit weird, but a few people have mentioned that to me. So I'm now wondering if I actually needed more length, because is the problem that it's pulling the neckline down and then I'm ending up with excess and gaping because the shaping isn't right, because everything's too far forward? Does that make sense? I know very little about fitting, but I am just thinking pulling it up, I mean, it sort of helped with the gaping, but it still didn't feel right. It still felt too low on me, and it was pushing against the back of my neck when I feel like it should have sat a bit further down. So I think my options are, and I'm going to have to play around with this, either to try and take some length out of the back as well, because the other thing I thought was maybe it's too long in the back and that's why it's pulling forward. I don't know really. This is the thing with fitting. It seems so simple. You look in a book and it says, if the neckline's gaping, you need to do this. But what I'm learning is that so often the fit issues are caused by, like, they're caused indirectly. So it'll be an issue somewhere else creates the pulling there or the gaping there or whatever. So I think if I see an opportunity to go to like a one-to-one fitting, over the summer, I might take this pattern, I might just make an unaltered version of the pattern, like a toile, and then I'll just take it to that person and say, what do I need to do? And I'll explain what I've tried before and what hasn't worked, because I just feel like the traditional thing of taking length out of the front just didn't work in the way that I wanted it to. So that's one thing. The other thing I will say with this, so I also should say I'm really pleased with how it turns out. At the end of this video, I'm going to pop some short clips in of the concert, and you should see how this dress looks on stage. It picks up the light so beautifully the whole way through. When I'm singing, it's like oh, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. So I'm really pleased with it. But there are obviously things that happen when you make something really quickly that I maybe would adjust next time, or that I might work on this dress specifically. So some of the other issues I had, obviously this fabric is very rough, and the bodice for this is not traditionally lined. So because I was in a rush, I really should have lined it, but I just didn't have time. So because I was in a rush, I just did normal seams, and they were so itchy, and I probably should have done French seams, but again, it just becomes a thing to do with time. So I've been thinking about what I'm going to do. It was wearable, but I think in the long term, there are ways to make it more comfortable. And I think instead of lining the bodice, I'm going to hand stitch either just ribbon or what's it called? Binding, bias binding. And I'm just going to hand stitch it down the seams just so they're covered. I think that will do the job. The other benefit of this fabric is it's so textured that you actually can't see. So I ended up top stitching the neckline. And obviously if you look closely, you can see it. But because there's so much going on, you actually can't really see. So I feel like you've got a little bit of leeway to make it more functional. I did with the sleeves, I used bias binding to hem them. There's a bit of a sequin sticking through, which I thought was a nice look, because you actually could see when I moved my arms, you would sometimes see a flash of the inside of the sleeve. So I'm glad I did it in gold, and that I didn't randomly pick. I mean, I've got some of the dogs on and stuff, and it just wouldn't have worked with it. So yeah, so that's another thing I'm glad that I did, and I think looks nice. The other thing, the length is not quite right. So I took a bit too much off the front, and I wanted to have a little train on the back, but I think because the overall length was a little short, the length ended up being based on the amount of fabric that I had available. It's just a little shorter than I would like at the front, and it sort of, there's not enough train to make it look like a train. It looks a bit like a very, very slight mullet hem. But it does mean that I could walk. It didn't get in the way, so I could walk on and off stage without having to hold my skirt up and stuff like that. So it worked perfectly. And in the time I had available, I took it with me somewhere, cut it out when I was there for the evening, when I had the evening off. And then I sewed most of the bodice up in the afternoon. Then I did the rest of the skirt in a morning somewhere. So I was just amazed that I actually got it finished, and I really loved wearing it. So I'm going to make a few tweaks just to make it slightly more comfortable for if I'm wearing it. The piece I was singing was only half an hour long, so I didn't have to wear it for that long. But if I was singing something longer, or if I was doing something where you have to sit for a long time in between, I would want it to be a bit more comfortable. But overall, I'm really pleased with it. I actually can't believe I got it finished. And it has made me see the benefit of a simple silhouette with some really wow fabric. Not that I didn't see that before, but it's like, it's just put in my mind, when I think about stuff I'm making for the wedding, you can actually make something really simple if you have the right fabric, and it can look really special. I do still sort of think, I mean, if I don't make another dress, I could always wear this for the evening of my wedding, couldn't I? But I did get some fabric which is totally not in the area that I thought I was looking for fabric for a party dress for the wedding. But I saw some dead stock fabric online, and I just suddenly thought, actually, I think that might work. I've not worked with any of this type of fabric before, and I don't want to give anything away because yeah, I am going to vlog things to do with preparation for the wedding, but I'm going to vlog as I go, and then I'll do like overall, you know, these the flower girl dresses video at the end, so you'll see some of the process and then get the overall thing after the wedding's happened, because I just want to keep some things. I've got some friends who are coming to the wedding and stuff, and my mum, although she'll see it anyway, but who watch these vlogs, and I don't want to sort of give away what we're doing. But yes, I do think I've potentially found the fabric that I'm going to use. There are a few challenges with it, so I need to sort of have a little think before I really fully commit, but I think I have a plan finally for that. So yeah, so I'm feeling quite inspired actually. Now, what else has been going on? As I've told you, work has just been crazy. Today I was hoping to get loads done, but I had a problem with the car, took it to the garage, left it there for a couple of hours whilst I just killed time nearby in a retail park. And they said it would take an hour. I went back and then they were like, oh, we haven't even started it. Come back in an hour and a half. And I was just like, no, I've got stuff to do. So I took the car with me and I'm just going to try and deal with it another day. I just wasn't going to waste the whole day. And who's to say I wouldn't have come back an hour and a half later and they wouldn't have still said, sorry, we haven't. No. So I feel like I wasted half the day, which is kind of sad. But here we are. Right. The other thing, I haven't been buying loads because obviously I haven't really had time to shop, which is saying something. And I am trying to shop less. I did, though, a little while ago, receive my last Little Miss So-and-so box. Now, I wasn't going to do an unboxing for this because I haven't had time to sew up the project from last month. It's cut out and it's in its little project bag, but I've not sewn it up. And as I mentioned before, I'm pausing my subscription for a while just so that I can make sure I'm getting the stuff done that I need to be sewing up. And also just to budget a bit. We've got wedding and renovations and money's just disappearing. So I thought I should probably stop the subscription box for a while. But this one turned up and it was so gorgeous that when I just opened it, so this isn't a live unboxing because I've already opened it and had a little look, but it was so gorgeous that I just couldn't not share it. So I'm going to show you. This is the June box. Yeah, this is the June box. So there's a little explanation of the pattern in here, but I'm not going to go too much into that now. Now, the pattern, it's a company I haven't heard of. The size range is okay. I fit into the size range, but only just. So it's like normally in a lot of these extended size ranges, I fit in sort of comfortably. And with this one, I'm like just in there. So room for improvement. The pattern's an interesting one, actually. There are parts of it that I think will really suit me. There are parts of it that I'm not sure, but I'm going to give it a go and hope for the best. So the pattern is by a brand called Seasons of East, and it is called Summer in New York. And how gorgeous is this packaging? So first of all, you can see the design of the dress here. So it's got these sort of, now it's not dissimilar actually to the sort of sleeves you have, these grown on sleeves you have on the Elodie dress. So I'm pulling that and I really can't see it. These sleeves. It looks sort of quite a similar, obviously it's not a wrap, but I think the idea of the silhouette is quite similar to Elodie. But then it's got sort of quite a slim fit skirt. That's what I'm not sure about because I normally don't like to wear things that are too fitted around that area. But I've seen a few versions that look really nice. So I'm wondering if, you know, sometimes actually if stuff skims, it can feel quite nice and look quite nice. Now, one of the most interesting things about this pattern, it comes in this, like, the package is like a canvas bag and it has, I don't know if I can show you this very easily. Oh, here we go. It's coming off. It's got like the New York skyline on it. How pretty is that? I just thought that was lovely, and I'm sure, I think I might keep the pattern in here. I don't know, or I might use the little drawstring bag for, do you know, some haberdashery items or something. But I just thought the pattern looked so gorgeous. As I said, so it's sizes 8 to 26. They say it's an intermediate level pattern. It's got a concealed zip, which I think is the trickier element. And if I just check here, it goes up to, so the body measurements chart goes up to 52.5-inch bust, 45.5-inch waist, and a 56.5-inch hip. So that's going to be really interesting to make, because I just, you know, I don't know the company. Yeah, I just have no awareness of this brand at all. So this is quite exciting. The sewing gifts, you always get a haberdashery gift. Again, I love. It's some little rosy cheeks labels, and I love little rosy cheeks. I already have loads of her labels, but I don't have these ones. So these say made in the meantime. And they're just very cute little rainbows. Lovely. Love that. So you'll get some clues as to the fabric that I've chosen from the notions. So here's my thread. This is colour 825 Gutermann thread. There's also a zip. Now, you might be thinking, this looks very browny beigey for me. True, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not sure if it's a good colour on me or not, but I just sort of went back and forth, and this was the fabric that jumped out at me. The colour is a little different to how it looked on screen, but I did open it and I was like, ooh, that's very pretty. So it's a Lady McElroy cotton lawn again, and this one has these beautiful birds all over it. So the background is a sort of khaki colour. Now, I don't know what colour it looked. In my head, it was like a slightly different colour, but I like this. I think it's nice. It's different to anything else I have. And the reason I liked these birds is because, so if you remember, Nathan went to Trinidad and he brought me some stuff back from Trinidad. And the national bird of Trinidad is a scarlet ibis. And it is like bright red. It's like a red, this amazing red bird with a black beak. And when he was there, one of the things that we both wanted to do when we go there, but that he did with his family when he went, was you go to this, they called it a swamp, which makes it sound not as nice as it is. I suppose it's like wetlands and stuff like that, but it looked beautiful. And basically at sunset, all of the birds take off. And so the sky is like full of these red birds just like flying through the sky. And this sort of reminded me of that a bit. You get this sort of sunset, the birds are sort of a sunset colour. And they've got the black beaks, and the shape is not dissimilar in some ways. So I think they're listed as being like, they're not scarlet ibis, but they just reminded me of that, and I thought it was very pretty. So I also, if you put this silhouette and that dress, I think it's going to be pretty. I'm quite excited about it, to be honest. So it's going to be way down the list, although it is quite a summery dress, I suppose, so I better get on with it. But I wanted to share that with you because I just thought it was such a lovely box. And I know I haven't chatted to you in a while, so I just wanted to sort of check in. Anyone who commented on my last video or who's commented on any of my others, I have not had time to sit down and go through them, but it is on my, I've read the comments as they've come in, and I need to just sit down and like respond. So please don't think I'm ignoring you. I'm not. It's on my list of things to get done over the next few days. And then what else have I got planned? So I have a lot more free time coming up, which is great. I'm not done with work yet, but it's just a lot less hectic. I now have my project bags. I have to prioritise a few things. So my mum's birthday present is all cut out. Her birthday was at the beginning of June, but that's sort of when the craziness started. So that's cut out, and I just need to sew it up. I have to find out what I'm going to do with this Duchess satin that I was gifted by Minerva. I initially had plans to make stuff for one of the weddings I went to, but I sort of didn't have time to bring that to fruition. And now I don't have any more formal events to attend that it's suitable for. So I'm thinking maybe using, I've been sent some of the By Hand London self-drafted patterns for free, and with no obligation to do anything with them. They've just sent them. And I was thinking of maybe trying to do the self-drafted. They have like a gathered skirt that has tucks on it with a little bow. And I sort of thought that the Duchess satin might be quite nice for that. It still will be quite a formal skirt. So I'm not sure what, I mean, there will be occasions when I can wear it, but I don't have a particular one in mind at the minute. But that's on my list. I need to get that done. And then also the Sorrento jacket is my project for Jenny Stitches, and I definitely want to have that done before summer really, really kicks in. Again, that's all cut out. So the Duchess Satin is not cut out, but the other 2 projects are. So those are going to be my top 3 things to get working on. And yeah, we'll see. There have obviously been some really good pattern releases, I think, since I spoke to you as well. The ones that stick out are the Sew Over It Sophia dress, which has this nice, like, it's got a little keyhole back. You can either do a big bow or button up at the back. It's just a really nice sort of sundress, which I purchased straight away. And the other one, oh, is the Fabric Godmother Peony dress, which I also ordered as soon as it was released. It obviously looks like those sort of Vampire's Wife style dresses. And for ages, I'd wondered why no one had released a pattern like that, because it's a silhouette. I think it's a silhouette that works on a lot of people. And yeah, I don't know, it just seemed weird that none of the companies seem to have released something that worked. And obviously now Fabric Godmother have. So I've ordered that, but I'm a bit stuck as to what fabric I want to make it in. So that's sort of on the back burner for the time being. Again, I've not got any events to make it for at the minute. So I've got the pattern, but I won't be making that anytime soon. Yeah, so that's my update. Sorry, I've been blethering on. If you've missed my random chatter, then here it is. Enjoy. But it's really nice to be back, and I appreciate all of the lovely comments on my last video and when I shared a picture of this dress. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, it's nice to be back. Hopefully I'll have some more updates for you over the weeks to come. So happy Friday, everybody. I hope you've had a great week, and please let me know any of your summer sewing plans. What have you been working on? Are there any recent pattern releases that you've really liked? The only other thing I haven't spoken about is Sewing Bee. I really enjoyed this week. I thought 90s week was really good. I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I got told off last time for revealing what one of the challenges had been. So I'm not going to go into more detail, but I very much enjoyed 90s week. It was one of my favourites, I think, and I thought some of the garments were really good. That's it. That's all I've got to chat about. So thank you so much for tuning in, and there will be some singing videos just after this, just little clips so you can see the dress in action, and I will check in with you again next week. All right, thanks guys. Bye.